the blessing of Archbishop Kirill, the 7th annual St. Herman's West Conference was hosted by the parish of the New Russian Martyrs in Mulino, Oregon, on December 23rd through the 26th, 2013. The conference began with a Moleben to St. Herman asking him to look over the youth during this conference. Following the Moleben, Archpriest Sergei Sveshnikov gave a lecture titled Fasting for Non-Monastics.
Thus, I would like us to discuss the very topic which fascinates so many lay people, what the fasting rules are and how they are to be followed by those of you who have not taken the vows of chastity, poverty, or obedience. If you cannot be in control of your stomach, if this simple sack of flesh is the ruler of your life, how can you hope to be in control of more complex physiology, or your mind, or your soul?
After the lecture, the youth then went ice skating at the Sherwood Ice Arena.
It's the most wonderful time of the year, with the kids jingle belling and everyone telling you be of good cheer. It's the most wonderful time of the year. It's the happiest season of all.
The conference participants then returned to the church hall where they participated in either choir practice, workshops on church reading, or altar serving.
But there's, like with everything, there's several layers of meaning to everything that we have, all the traditions in our church.
The last activity of the day were workshops on candle making led by Father Sergei Sveshnikov and icon painting led by Father Paul Drozdovsky. The second day of the conference began with a lecture given by Archimandrite Irene about prayer in our daily life.
And at the heart of this mystery for each of us as Christian people is prayer. And I want to talk about prayer today because I think it's one of these topics that is so much at the center of our life as Christians that we sometimes don't think about it. Or when we do think about it, we think about it in strange terms. You know, the church teaches us that prayer is what we're created for, that it's at the very center of our being as human people fashioned by God. It's not just something that we do, it's who we are. We are creatures that pray.
The lecture was followed by an informative panel discussion in which clergy answered questions from the youth about issues they face today.
I just want to say, I think the litmus test sometimes for whether we are being good evangelists is simply the question, would someone notice me as being different? Ironically, I suppose, it's kind of perverse in the modern world if you go up to someone and say, you're a sinner and you're going straight to hell unless you accept Jesus Christ. That's quite ordinary, everybody's doing that. It's not really going to have any impact on anybody to say that sort of thing. What touches people is seeing something different. And that should always be my question. Every time I walk out of a room, every time I walk out of an encounter, whether it's with strangers or with each other, I should always ask myself, if we were to be analyzed, would anyone think I was any different for the fact that I'm a Christian? Or would I just blend in with the rest of the world around me?
The participants then went on a nature walk in the Hopkins Demonstration Forest.
I see skies of blue and clouds of white, blessed day, the dark sacred night, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world.
The day concluded with an all-night vigil in the New Martyrs Church. On the feast day of St. Herman, 6 priests and 3 deacons, led by Archimandrite Irenee, served the Divine Liturgy, in which most of the conference participants received Holy Communion. Following the liturgy, a discussion on the role of women in the church was held.
Women do have different qualities than men. When we discuss different things that go on in the parish, women have a bit more of this emotionalism that they can't overcome in making certain things very clear. And knowing from this personally, knowing other women, when we're faced with this challenge, we go, into hiding. It is this emotional quality of ourselves. We can do things like practical things on the spur of the moment, way better than any man can do, But it's that emotional setback that stops us from really seeing things absolutely clearly and objectively.
Here's like a fundamental difference between men and women in the body, soul, and spirit. Put the body of the man here and the body of the woman here. They're on the same level. Put the spirit up here of the man and the spirit over here of the woman. They're on the same level. But the soul is a little bit different. Men and women are wired slightly differently. The man's soul is equidistant, so to say. If there was a distance between the soul, the body, and the spirit, the man's soul somewhere in the middle. And the woman, it's not, according to Archimandrite Zacharias. The woman's soul is a little bit higher. It's closer to the spirit. That makes things a little bit, because they're closer, it's a little bit harder for them to distinguish between spiritual things and psychological things.
To end the day, a workshop on icon painting and a panel discussion were held, which were followed by a campfire.